Okay, I'm no expert, or am I? But it feels like our relationship with fame is really sort of a twisted cuck slash masochistic situation. Let's start off with our girl, Chappell Roan. Everybody, welcome to Friday on Talk to Me Taylor. Am I right? Going in and out with a bang, as always. So we have our latest Gen Z star, Chappell Roan. She is a big artist right now. She just performed at the VMAs. And what caught my attention, besides Sabrina Carpenter and all of her little horny glory, okay, speaking of, was this moment. Because otherwise, it's sort of like been there, done that, like we talked about, earlier this week. Been there, done that, messed around. Maybe or maybe not, you sick fucks with fame, like what we're going to talk about today, but with the VMAs, right? It's sort of like it's played. Everyone's trying to be shocked. Everyone's trying to be this, that, snooze fest. We're over it. Moving on. But again, besides Sabrina, this little interaction that Chappell Roan had with a photographer caught my attention.
I gotta shut the f up. She missed the spot.
You shut the
Hey! Yeah! Yo! Your pulse is
Chappell!
Not me. Listen, I could be a stone cold former red carpet reporter. I'm jaded. I've seen some shit. So it takes a lot, to catch my eye. And so I caught her on it was given a little bit of Courtney Love throwing a water bottle up at Madonna when she was doing her MTV interview at the VMAs that year, actually, when they were, fun and spontaneous, like not when people were doing the most and being so extra and trying so hard, like now. So Chappell Roan is on the carpet and apparently a photographer was heckling her. And she goes right back at him, like snatches their wig, and she's like, no, you shut the fuck up. Don't. Like, I'm not the one. Do not. And she subsequently talked about this little interaction of hers. And I have to say, me, sometimes I'm a little bit skeptical of celebrities who, bitch and moan for being in the limelight. It's a little bit like, this is what you signed up for. However, it has gone way too far, right? And that's just what we're seeing on the whole. It's what I'm going to be talking about today. But why I give her props for actually doing this and not just being a baby, but being like, this isn't normal. Like, are you okay? Are we just a bunch of wildebeest? What is happening here? She ends up saying that this photographer, obviously, this person told her to shut the fuck up because she went back like, you shut the fuck up. Like your mom, you want to talk about mothers? Having a white chicks moment.
Oh my God, you want to talk about mothers? Oh, you want to talk?
She subsequently said, this whole fame thing, this is not what I signed up for. It's almost like an abusive relationship with an ex-partner. The heckling, the stalking, the constant screaming and yelling and tearing me down. If it becomes too dangerous, if it becomes too much, bitch, I'm out. Like Irish exit. You see me once, you don't see me again. Call me Justin Bieber because it's the ghost of you. There I go.
Deemed the Celebrity Whisperer by Playboy.
This is the best interview of the day.
Thanks for having me.
You hit the nail on the head.
100%.
Period, yeah.
Touch them, Chris. You're cracking me up.
Wear them, baby. This is good.
Taylor Ferber.
I have to say, again, as someone like me who is a little bit, skeptic and is a little bit, has in my work, and if you listen to my show, as you've known, I have, called out subs for this. But I have to say, this is where I'm like, guys, like we really need to pause, to break, to put the chill mode on. Because it really has gotten out of control. And what does it say, my friends, about you, about me, about all of us, Kumbaya, my heart around the campfire. You even think about the celebrities who more and more, and Fox News relishes, they love shit like this because they think Hollywood and LA is literally the land of Satan. I'm actually not even kidding. They think it is Hades, personified, but they love this stuff. But every time a big celebrity leaves Hollywood, right? And namely because it's so toxic and all this. So recently you have Ali Larder, but you also have people, especially since the pandemic, like Mark Wahlberg, Hilary Swank, who else? You have Nicole Kidman, right? Big stars. And I thought this was a really good example because it's like, right. This is I mean, I know, bitch, you know, I have been around I have been in those sewers, in those gutters, in those trenches, you know, like below Chateau Marmont and all around town. And I feel like this isn't necessarily the nature of what we're going to be talking about today, and the fanfare and fans and people just really, you know, being super destructive outside of LA. I just thought that this was a good kind of, it's like, right, this is sort of the microcosm and the way down condensed version of the machine that Hollywood is and how toxic that can be, right? But the thing that I really thought about today was how, I mean, it just feels like you know, you talk about, like, she talks about, like, the abusive ex, right? And, you know, we need to do some soul searching. Like, we are moving fast. We are moving hard. Fast times, you know, at 2024 high. And collectively, we all know this, right? Tech and how we interact and the political divisiveness and all of it has just become so toxic. But when you look at this fan and everyman versus celebrity of any kind, you know, there's celebrities of all kinds of people rise to fame now for all different reasons, which we're going to talk about. But it's this really sort of twisted relationship. But I feel like, looking in hindsight, it's even more toxic now, I think you could argue, than it ever was. Now, don't get me wrong. So I have these this is purple, not white, but I have these little booby saddles in a la Marilyn Monroe in her honor, because I was thinking, you know, look at the Marilyn Monroes. Like, look at the people who unfortunately perished far too young and too early, and fame was really their demise one way or the other. Like, fame has always been fucked up and twisted and have had those repercussions and complicated consequences, right? For lack of better terms. And, you know, I was really thinking about that. I'm like, you know, but there's always been that. I just feel like it's heightened now. You know, you even look at the 27 Club, right? Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, Amy Winehouse, all of these people who, again, had some sort of twisted relationship with fame. Now, you could also say that they had their respective issues and troubles and were disturbed outside of fame. Perhaps fame just accelerated all of that and they couldn't handle it in the fast, you know, life and the fast lane and all this. So again, it's always sort of come with the territory, you know, occupational hazard, just like, you know, doctors all of a sudden twerking in their scrubs to a TikTok video.
Big booty, what you got a big booty, big booty, what you.
These days, like, it's just is what it, like I said, occupational hazard, like that just keeps on going, you know, the gift that keeps on going. And even child stars, right? You look at that again, the test as old as time. All these childhood stars who it just was too much, too fast, too soon. They couldn't handle it. And then next thing you know, they are out here, you know, with tattoos in their unibrow, with piercings, like out of their nostrils and on their fingernails. And they don't even know which way is up. They're suddenly gap tooth, they're swinging knives. Like, all these things are happening and it's just kind of crazy, you know, and I'm not going to question it. But, you know, what can I say? Fame, it's the name of the game, baby. Famous people, it almost feels like then they were sort of adored, right? Larger than life. And now it's like we just hate fuck them, basically. It's really kind of weird. We make them the target, and it's almost like society as a whole takes their anger and their frustration and, you know, sexual pent-up energy and whatever it is, issues out on these people, no matter what kind of fame they are in, right? And make their lives a living hell, bring them down, critique them, criticize them, again, heckle them. And that's where I really see a distinction of then versus now. It's like, kind of, then fame fucked people up, and now people get famous and the masses go out of their way to deliberately try to fuck them up and put them in every Malibu rehab straight jacket situation that you'd ever seen. And guys, I'm sorry for all the F-bombs today. It is, be a lady about this. It's freaking weird. It is really, it's weird. It's weird, not to pull a Tim Walls, but it's weird.
It's weird.
You really think about that, right? It's like back then, oh, we want to be like them. We want to be like the Marilyn Monroes. We want to be like these people. And now it's this sort of sick kind of dichotomy of we kind of want to be you, but we also hate you and we want to just tear down everything about you and make your life a living hell. So I almost don't blame celebrities for being like, I'm out, mic drop, peace out. This shit is not even worth it. Like, I made my bag. I did what I had to do. I'm out. Like, I'm trying to live as a recluse on an island somewhere. You don't even exist to me. I don't even blame them for that. And when I think about this heightened nature of making high profile people and celebrities, like I said, the target, making them feel almost punished and making them want to suffer. It's funny. I think about how did I, one, Talk to Me Taylor, come to this moment again as somebody who was always so frustrated by the fake facade of celebrities and always trying to get them to reveal more. I always said, again, you signed up for this. You're in the public eye. You know what comes with the territory. Give the people what they want.
I hired 100 paparazzi so I can get anything I want.
Dedicating, years of my life's work to this very effort, right? Which you could say now looking back because celebrities are becoming more and more irrelevant. Or are they? That's like, again, the twisted thing with this whole nature, right? But like, was my work in vain? But no, that idea, what I would do with my selfie stick interviews of getting them to go somewhere real and human and deeper and not, what are you wearing? Oh, don't you love this person? Oh, don't you love that? Da, 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 da. Nobody cares. And I would get so frustrated at the time when they were so buttoned up and scared to reveal anything and a little bit, withholding and skeptical. And especially when you have the big kahuna with the biggest kahuna's balls ever of their entourage, their publicist, their team, keeping everything as airtight, as zipped up, as, the Swifties assholes when it comes to anyone having a different political opinion than them. And looking back, there's always been this push and pull of how much are celebrities going to reveal about themselves? How much are they going to, keep up? There's always been this weird dance. And again, then I was advocating for it more and more. Like, show us what's real. Like, we don't want the fake shit. And again, it's so funny kind of now in hindsight, looking at it being like, well, what is the point? Because it's like literally I talk about a basket. Are you a masochist? I'm just going to reveal things here. And then I'm going to get shit on it 5 ways from Sunday. So as Cardi B would say, what is the reason, bitch? What is the point?
What was the reason?
I had a reason.
What was the reason? What was the reason?
I just explained the reason.
What was the reason, bitch?
I don't need to explain myself to you. And
what was the reason?
And when you take it a step further, you really kind of think about, bear with me on this journey. Bear with me on this. You really kind of think about how, is this really even about fame? Is this even about fame itself? I really thought about it and was thinking, is this really about people who are willing to step out of a box, step out of some sort of societal conformity, willing to be different? And again, getting, sort of shit on and hated on and punished for that. Is fame the thing itself? Or is it, again, just a category of not being like anybody else? And when you think about it that way, the math starts to begin mathing. Because you're like, it permeates over so many different celebrities and famous people over all walks of life. And the reasons that they are the burn books of so many Reginas, Ronaldos, Rebeccas, Rachels of the world, right? So say even Sydney Sweeney. You have this woman who's a total bombshell, these big, arguably natural, boobs, and is absolutely gorgeous and, talented actress. And even this bitch gets shit on, right? For being too sexual, for being something, for being the other thing. It's like, does no one here want to be happy? Because I think this is making everybody happy. I don't know. Are you guys all just self-hating? Or is it because Sydney Sweeney is somebody of a high profile, of a high stature, that is different, that does have these big boobs out of your screen and on your head and on your face? And it's like, whoa, like that's kind of different, right? I know you would have the PC people argue like that's not different at all. That's a total male gaze standard, objectified, whatever. But you get what I'm saying. I mean, those boobs are enough to even make me be like, whoa, hello, like, right? Because we're not used to seeing them, quite frankly, out and about on the town like that, on the reg. She gets shit. Even on the other side of the spectrum, let's take a look at sports. You look at Caitlin Clark. This girl is so talented in the WNBA. She has brought the WNBA back. Like, it is parachute pants. Like, it is back in style, bitch. Like, higher ratings and buzz and all this. Yet she gets shit on because she's not a player of color, because she's a white girl. And it's absolutely wild. It's like, okay, so we can idolize and put on a pedestal the LeBron James and all these people, but we're going to give shit, Angela Reese, what have you, but we're going to shit on Caitlin Clark for being out of a box, for doing something different, for doing something, I don't know, that maybe people are jealous of or can't quite wrap their heads around for some reason. Even, let's take it to tech, shall we? Let's take it to tech. Even Elon Musk, right? Total forward thinker, innovator, doesn't give a fucker, like my hero in so many ways, truly does not give a shit, right? But is such an innovator. And before he was like, used to be a darling, right? But because politics got involved, people are constantly scrutinizing him, shitting on him, judging him, trying to punish him, trying to reprimand him. And it's like, okay, for being a genius thinker of our time who also, again, just has no filter and says whatever the fuck he thinks and doesn't care how you feel about it and isn't gonna like swaddle you and breastfeed you and hold you like a little crying baby. Like, I'm here for it. You know, again, even somebody like that. And then when you think, you know, ideology, right? I mean, forget that. That's like, you could look at somebody across from you, be it online or in person or a celebrity, and because they disagree with you politically or socially, they're suddenly a freak. They're an other. You know what I mean? Again, it's that idea of somebody being outside of your sad little box. And when you think about ideology, an example that comes to mind that was actually pretty recently, I think it was back in June, you have Jerry Seinfeld, who was performing as stand-up. He's been vocal here and there about, you know, the Israel-Hamas war. He's obviously a Jew, and he's getting heckled in the audience by basically pro-Hamas orgy lovers. And he was really quick and, you know, quick on his feet and was like, guys, we have people here who just solved the conflict in the Middle East. Thank you to these people. But it's that idea of why you go out of your way to go to this man's show. This is what he does, just to scream obscenities at him. Like, this is getting a lot accomplished. Good job. You did it for the day. Like, that's like Billy Madison. You have now made everybody in this room dumber for having heard it. And you think of this, you know, environment on the whole. How did we go from tossing panties on stage to tossing plastic bottles, basically? Offensive in so many ways, especially to the Green New Deal folks. Okay, that's all I have to say. And I too experienced this so much with my own journey, you know, even as a woman. It's funny thinking about all of this in hindsight. I feel like I get so much more shit now for my content because I have taken on and embodied and really have loved and relished in the tits and brain, the Barbie brain persona. And again, it's while so many women resonate with it because they intuitively get it, right? They're like, fuck yeah, and men as well. We're not used to seeing it. It's not normal to the eye. And I feel like I get so much shit on now than when I was like a cute girl next door, you know, doing carpet interviews, whatever it was, right? Again, it's like people really make you the target and try to take you down if it's unfamiliar to them. And it's like, first of all, why would the Barbie brain, you can disagree with my politics and my stances and my views all you want. But again, sidebar, what joy does it bring you to completely just like shit on my or anyone that you disagree with for that matter's existence versus like agree to disagree, respectfully disagreeing, right? But the whole Barbie brain thing, what living, breathing person, why did that bring you joy and make you happy to shit on that concept? Like, again, it's like the Sydney Sweeney thing. This, in my mind, a win-win-win all around. Like, we are all happy here, right? Like, what about that would freak you out and wig you out that much? But I'll tell you, speaking of wigging out, you will never snatch my wig on that concept. So you can try, right? But again, that idea of people constantly like, you shouldn't portray yourself like this, or, conduct yourself like this, or dress like this if you're talking about this, or addressing that. And how is anybody going to take you seriously? And we simply can't focus and no, be one or the other. Why? Because people are tribal Neanderthals who can't think for themselves, who get freaked out, like I talked about earlier this week, of what they don't know. And so they get scared and throw sticks and stones, but bitch, words can never hurt me, nor can any of your plastic bottles or any of your shit, or your panties, if you want to throw them up here, like whatever it is, it ain't gonna hurt me despite how you're feeling about it in your own feelings. And even I'm going to bring it back to this concept really quickly. But again, that idea of being outside of a box and being willing to be different in one way or another, when you really think about it, even the trans issue, and you guys know that I am not a fan of whatever biology you were born as or grew up through puberty as to then compete in the opposite sport, right? Competitively. And athleticism and all of that. Do I agree with that? No. But when you think about the trans issue on the whole, again, that idea of versus, and I'm not talking about the Dylan Mulvaney's parading around like a 12-year-old and mocking and embarrassing us all, okay? But when you think about somebody who's trans really having the bravery and going through, I'm sure, that difficult process of being like, you know what? Fuck all of you. This is who I am. I'm going to do this and be public about it and be proud and choose this life for myself. I actually think that's really commendable and really brave. And yet, because again, it's unfamiliar, it's different, it's out of the box, it's not like everyone else, they're constantly on the whole have this umbrella put over them of they're just freaks, they're mentally ill, this isn't right, this isn't okay, instead of looking at it for what it actually is. And so all that to say, we collectively, just call us Adam Sandler, okay? Because we got a lot of anger management issues to work out. You think about it.
Shut up!
Let's bring it back to fame, right? And why we make it our life's mission to make these people suffer. The most messed up thing about this entire situation, I could not think about this when I was putting this episode together, is while fame has never been so toxic, we also, as a society and a culture, have never been so fame obsessed. Think about it. Everybody wants to be famous. Everybody wants to be an overnight viral sensation, a hot tour girl, no matter how dumb that they look, okay? No matter how many brain cells depleted they look, people will stop at nothing. And it is really quite twisted. How could that be? How could we be in a culture that is so almost spiteful and hateful of famous people, yet we have never collectively wanted it so badly? What does that say about us? Freud is rolling in his grave, okay? Because he's like, y'all have done, you are all fucked up. Even I can't diagnose and dissect this, okay? You have all made a mess of this and yourselves. And I feel like a story that really brings it all together, a recent story nicely in, a not so neat little bow. Okay, just call me Inception, because this is going to be up to interpretation. Okay, like I said, I like to blow your brains and your balls all at the same time. Okay, tell me how often you see that. Okay, but show me a box with that inside. So David Schwimmer recently came out on a podcast and talked about how he essentially passed up what would have been the quintessential blockbuster role that could have made him a mega A-list recognizable movie star.
Hearing that you turned down the Men in Black role.
No.
Is that right?
Did you?
Best decision I ever made. Kinda, yeah. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, no, well, you know. No? We never talked about it?
No.
Well, it was, yeah, I had a...
Which part? The Will's part?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, I had committed to direct my first film with my entire theater company in Chicago, my best mates, and we were a month before out of shooting. They had all turned down all kinds of other jobs to do this first film, and I couldn't...
Yeah.
With great
Yeah.
respect, I'm glad.
I mean, we all know David Schwimmer as, you know, Ross and Friends, of course, iconic. And he is David Schwimming in those dollar bills, in those millions forever. But think about it. It's aside from his stint and his impeccable, uncanny rendition of Robert Kardashian and the O.J. Simpson show, Ryan Murphy show, that's really all he was. He kind of peaked at that, right? And that's all he became known for and really pigeonholed as Ross and Friends. And never really quite accelerated to that next level of relevancy and fame. So he talked about how at the time he was on a hiatus for Friends and he had taken on this project where a lot of people were depending on him and writing on him. It was basically all of these up and comers. And he had signed a deal where he was going to do a series of movies with a lot of the company and a lot of them included in it. It was even going to direct one of them or multiple ones. And he either had that, and then basically in a weird curveball twist, he was offered the role in Men in Black. And he, be it out of principle, whatever it was, right, that obviously would have skyrocketed him to fame. And he chose the former out of, you know, all the people depending on him and the commitment he made. And could he have picked Men in Black and fucked all those up and comers and his commitment? Could he have fucked them over? Yeah. But he didn't. But the most fascinating part is now he looks at it, you know, looks back in retrospect and says, you know, I'm not sure that I made the right call. I don't know that I made the right call. And, you know, he'll never know. And so all I can say is I definitely, it makes me even think about all this, right? I know what I'm committed to, and I'm a ride or die with you guys. I'm committed to what I'm building and all of this and the boobs out, brain out mindset and all of that. Like, I ain't going anywhere. I got you. But this whole thing definitely really does make me think about it. You know, the bigger and bigger you get, the more they just want to take you down. Would you ultimately regret it? Like a David Schwimmer? Is it worth it? And so all that to say, I don't have a clean answer for y'all. I really think that it's worth, though, stopping and taking a minute to think about all this. Why are we like this? Where does it go from here? Is it worth it? Even for yourself, you could be hooked to it overnight. And I'd ask you, is it worth it to you?
Oh, you gotta give him that hook and spit on that thing. You get me?